Happy Saturday, Gearheads. Well, it is a Saturday and I am still feverishly working on yet another script. But in the meantime, we need to do some garage work here. So on this episode of Gearhead Life, we're going to deal with this blank space in the garage. So this is the next stage of upgrades for my garage. You may have remembered in my previous videos for the Bissell wet dry vac, I don't have a whole bunch of floor space. So any upgrades I do, I want to put on the wall, just like the vacuum. I wanted a place to store my rakes and garden tools and things like that. And I decided to go with a slat wall. I didn't like the pegboard look. I thought the slat wall was a very nice look, nice and clean. I decided to go with an 8-foot by 4-foot section. The color is sandstone. It's made of 90% recycled material, and it has a really good. It's really strong. So as you can see, I ordered the slat wall panels. As you can see, it's in the box. I also ordered one of their hook kits, just their basic hook kit, and then I also went with the shelf brackets, as well as buying a section of wood to serve as my shelves. Looking inside the box, there's really not much there. I mean, it's everything you need. You have the instruction sheet, and then you have all of the slat wall panels. I had more than enough screws to mount these slat wall panels. Before I put the slat wall up, I wanted to get the shelving done. So I went with a oil-based wood stain with a polyurethane gloss coat for extra protection. Now, I've never stained anything in my life. This is my first time staining. And I'm sure there are a lot of you out there that can look at what I've done and probably think I could have done better. But what I ended up with, I think, was very nice. I laid down a sheet of plastic to protect the garage floor and went to town. This stuff was pretty dark when I got started. I was expecting something a little more brown, but like I said before, I've never stained anything before. But I dove right into it and applied a nice even coat on both panels on both sides. After letting the stain set overnight, I came back the next day with the clear coat and applied that on both sides on both panels. Once the shelves were stained, it was time to put up the base for the slat wall. You're supposed to mount it on studs for the most strength. And the studs are roughly 16 inches apart, and I had about 7 studs to work with. The key here is to make sure that it's level. And if it's off, then the whole thing is going to be off. And that's the last thing I wanted. So I was always measuring and checking the level multiple times before I put a single screw into the wall. And thankfully it paid off. Next were the uprights. Again, measuring, checking the level multiple times, because the last thing I wanted to do is put a screw in where I didn't want it. Once I had the basic framework laid out, I then took my level and made sure that I had all of the studs marked properly and straight up and down, because that's where I was going to put all my screws, and I had to make sure that I was hitting a stud every time that I was screwing a panel to the wall. And then after that, the first panel really took the longest because I had to cut a hole to accommodate the socket. And to be honest, I really needed an extender for the socket so I could pull the plug out of the wall and then mount it flush to the panel. But I neglected to buy one and I didn't want to stop my progress. So I decided to go ahead and just cut a hole, because I really wasn't going to be using that plug that often. I was going to pretty much, whatever I plugged in was going to stay plugged in and I wasn't going to have to worry about it. So I put the panel on and I marked where the plug was, and after that I pulled it back off and got to cutting. This is where I really needed a reciprocating tool to be able to cut, but a razor blade worked. It just took a little longer and took a lot more muscle than I liked, but I got the job done. But once I got the hole cut, it turned out pretty nice. I needed to do a little bit more trimming to make it square, but overall I was satisfied. Now comes the fun part of laying in all of the slat panels. And they just go one after the other. Each time I lay in a panel, I put in a screw at each stud. You can see here how each panel locks into the next. It made for a very clean look that was really strong. After all the slats were laid in came the easy part. Just putting the shelf bracket up there. And one thing I liked about the ProSlat walls is that I actually had a screw hole so I could secure the shelf to the bracket so it doesn't wobble or anything. And then once the shelves were done, well, hey, it was time to put all my goodies up there. I had a lot of car wash stuff, a lot of towels, a lot of soaps, a lot of everything to keep my car clean, and they were in all different places all around the garage. So this was a great feeling to be able to have all my car wash stuff in one place, easily obtainable. Not to mention all the other chemicals that go in a garage. Then it was time to put on the hooks. Some of the more heavy-duty hooks had screws that would clamp down onto the slat wall for a more secure fit, but otherwise it was just a straightforward install. As you can see, here is the finished product. There's still some work to do, and we'll see how I like it, but I had a place for all my cleaning materials, my towels, my battery chargers, my lawn stuff, a couple of tools, lawn tools for the wall. It's awesome. So that's it, really. This isn't everything I wanted just yet. Well, this slat wall is everything I wanted, but I don't know exactly how I want it arranged just yet. But the way to figure that out is to start arranging it and see if I like it. If I don't, I'm going to rearrange it. The goal is to put 2 more slat walls on this wall to stretch all the way down to the vacuum cleaner. And that way I'll have plenty of room for all of my tools. There's still some things I haven't hung up yet, but I'm just still, like I said, just testing it out and see what arrangement I like. But that's it for now. Thanks for hanging with us for Gearhead Life. This one was a lot of work, as this one was a little longer than usual, but hopefully you got something out of it. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And until we talk to you again, take care.